cool. So you're from here in San Diego, right?
Yes.
Did you grow up here?
Born and raised, yeah.
Born and raised. What
Yeah.
part of San Diego?
Imperial Beach. Yeah.
Okay.
Imperial Beach.
How did you get into music originally? I mean, you have this major company now. I mean, it's insane.
Yeah, I think I got into music. I think it was the first time I hit the middle school dance. I walked into a middle school dance, and then I was fascinated by the way the DJ was actually controlling the dance floor.
Yeah.
And I was just blown away because I was like, man, like everybody's emotions and reactions are going based on what the DJ is playing. And that's when I was just like, man, like I gotta see what he's doing, and I gotta start researching what that is about, right?
Yeah.
And that's how I started getting into music. I started researching like what a DJ really was, and then it just went from there. You know?
Was there a specific song or anything that like drew your attention in, or it was just the vibe of the whole
I think
thing?
it was Venga Boys at the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I was like 99, 2000.
Okay.
That's yeah.
Yeah.
I was like 11 or 12 like when I started. I'm 32 now, so.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Just turned 33 over here.
Turned 35. Wow.
Yeah. So we were same generation going
Yeah,
to middle
yeah,
school
yeah.
dances. But
Yeah.
yours sounds like it was better because I don't remember ever seeing a DJ.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
like at our middle school dances and stuff, it was just like a guy playing CDs or something.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah.
don't think they were cutting and
With us,
mixing.
at our dances, I went to Mar Vista Middle.
Okay.
So at our
My mom
dances.
went there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so the dances, they had a DJ and they were using turntables.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then from there, did you just start?
So what I
where
did,
it go
I
from
literally
there?
started going into pawn shops because my parents didn't really know either, like what I was trying to do. So I started going to pawn shops trying to find turntables. And obviously I wasn't running into like actual turntables. I was running more into like vinyl players.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I started
Like some belt drive. Big
yeah,
thing.
exactly. So I started with one of those. And then I started taking my parents' stereos and then just trying to figure out how I can mix two songs together. Like I didn't know what the mixers were at the time, right?
Right.
So I started doing the bootleg style of DJing. But yeah, that's how I was introduced.
Were you scratching your parents' records and stuff, or like were?
No, they didn't have records.
Oh, so you just bought whatever.
Yeah,
you could
they were
get.
using CDs.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I was taking their stereos, their CD stereos, and I was just like mixing with vinyl. I just had like
wow.
a whole mess going on that
Wow.
only I knew what I was doing. But, But yeah.
That's cool. Or like when
Yeah.
you DJ, do you have like a set list? Like how does it?
Yeah, so when you DJ, you usually prepare your crates, right? But as a DJ, you just kind of have everything in your head of what works, what doesn't work, and that's where the talent comes out, like you got to just understand the crowd and how to move them too, because what some people don't understand is when you're playing at a club, like it's also important to understand when you got to send people to the bar so they can spend money. If you keep them entertaining, like if you entertain them the whole night and they're just dancing and dancing and dancing, yeah, that's a good thing. But the bar owners don't like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you got to be able to know how to send them to the bar so they can spend money.
That's
so
interesting.
It's strategic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something I would have never even thought of.
Yeah, and I know when I worked in radio myself, like I had to understand that at the end of the day, it was a business. It wasn't, it's fun, but it's a business, and there's guidelines that I have to follow, and there's certain records I have to play at a certain time in a certain order. And it's the same thing for the club. It's still a business, and there's a strategic plan behind it too. So yeah.
Well, how would you feel at a crowd? Like, do you have certain records that are fire, and if you put it on, you're gonna get people moving? Like, is it just feeling the room?
Shots.
Yeah, like how?
I think it's timing too, right?
Okay.
So it's understanding like what time you're gonna play the records, when the crowd is completely inside of the club, or are they still? Is it still not full? Like it's
sure.
just timing. It's pretty much everything. So
Wow.
Yeah.
What were your first gigs? Was it like weddings or school dances?
I think it was more mobile gigs, like but that was still early on.
Yeah.
So I went into radio probably when I was like 20, 21 or something around there. And then I was doing clubs like when I was 18. right? So I was doing
Wow.
clubs when I was 18, and then I was doing the mobile gigs very young. So like 14, 15, I was already doing mobile gigs.
Wow.
But I think that helped a lot because what it did is just it helped me understand the business side of it and the customer service side of it at a very young age.
Yeah.
And I think that helped with the business that I have now.
Uh-huh.
You know, so
Your business fascinates me. I mean,
Yeah.
the fact that you have all these stems and beats and stuff that you're
Yeah.
letting people walk me through. Like, how did this idea come up? Like, how did that even start?
Sure. So I used to work when I started DJing at the age of 15. What happened is I joined a similar service to this, but at the time we were servicing vinyl, and back then it was vinyl. It wasn't digital. So people would pay $100 a month to join the membership, and you would get all the latest releases every month. So then what happened is that I started interning for that service, and I started getting my feet wet at a very young age. And I told the guys, I said, guys, like in 2004, I said, guys, like the digital age is coming along, and like we got to figure out how to enter this new era because
Yeah.
vinyl's gonna go away sooner or later. And they said, you know what, like it's not gonna go away. Like let's just continue doing the vinyl thing. And I said, okay, cool. I'm gonna do my own thing. And then I was already doing radio at the time, so I had relationships with a lot of the labels already. So I said, you know what, I'm just going to start reaching out and letting them know I'm starting my digital platform. And it was still early on. But then once I got the funds to build a website, my dream was always to build a website.
Okay.
And I think what it was is like I've been telling people recently is that what it was is that I had a very successful DJ career at a very young age.
Yeah.
And I noticed very quick that I didn't want to focus all the energy into just me. So I wanted to pretty much focus that energy into solving a solution for everybody else, like all the DJs around the world.
Yeah.
I knew that I had the capability to help other DJs, not just myself. And so I think if I would have continued to DJ, just me personally, I think I probably would have had something good going on.
Yeah.
But I think now it just made it even better. Like I have relationships with the artists, managers, labels,
Yeah.
DJs, and it's worked out.
I think it's awesome that you have indie people too, so you could like make a band that's just starting like really famous.
Of course.
By offering that. On
Yeah,
their
I think
service.
more and more as artists are becoming independent, they're finding platforms like ours, and they're seeing the value, and they're definitely engaging and trying to communicate with us on the daily basis on trying to have us help them break the records into the masses,
Yeah.
because we get a lot of program directors and music directors that use our service too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The reason behind it is because we put intros, extended versions into the songs.
Oh.
And so it started off by us servicing DJs, but then music directors started realizing like, holy, like I can use this to put a bed over it or to put a voice over it. I'll rather just use them versus New Music Server or All Access.
Yeah.
Sure,
right?
yeah.
And so then
Oh, wow.
we started getting requests from music directors, program directors saying like, "Hey, can we get a comp account?" We said, "Sure." Like
Ooh.
use it, And so we give them comp accounts, just like mix show DJs, we give them comp accounts and they use our platform to get the latest releases,
That's
Wow.
really
Yeah.
So, like, if a song, like a new record comes out,
Yeah.
a new song, and it has like maybe like a 3-second or quick intro,
Yeah.
your company will build it. Like, you could build it like a 20-second. So, if you could build like a ramp for somebody to talk into, or like a way to mix a record.
So what happens is that the DJs need an extended version to it, right? Which an extended version it varies depending on the BPM of the song.
Sure.
So it could be anywhere between 18 to 32 seconds, for example. And then so that extended is being used to be able to mix the records.
Oh.
But then it can also apply when you're running voiceovers over it or imaging behind it
Yeah.
on top of it, right?
Yeah.
And so that's why the MDs and the PDs decided, oh, this is probably a good tool for us too, and so they use it. So yeah.
That's genius.
Yeah.
So, did you take like business classes in high school? Like how
I didn't.
you just
I didn't.
Homegrown.
You know what? I always had the passion to for a couple of things. One, it's running a multimedia company, which we recently opened our own design agency.
Wow.
So we do design work. We haven't really like promoted it or anything like that, but we've had a lot of success based on the fact that it's owned by BPM, which is a mother company. But
Yeah.
we've done a lot of stuff for a bunch of festivals, and we've done a lot of branding for a bunch of big companies and
Ooh.
manufacturers, music stuff.
Yeah,
That's what
that's
we're
really
trying to
cool.
focus on.
Wow.
Yeah, like we just recently helped out Comic-Con with their museum that they just opened up.
Wow.
So we did their branding for the museum, and
That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Wow.
So
With BPM Supreme, is that so DJs? If I was a DJ and I wanted to come to you and I'm like, okay, I want the acapella of whatever this Ellie Goulding
Yeah.
song. Is that stuff that you can access?
if the label releases it, then yeah, it's available.
Okay, so
But
how
if it's not, then it wouldn't be available there.
so you guys can put out. So does the label come to you and go, okay, like
The label
here's-
has full control of what they're sending to us, right?
Okay.
So we basically tap into their DDEX feed, where they submit all the music. So when we first started, we would go through promo department, which is what radio stations usually go through. But then we started growing, and we started having to do licensing deals, and so now we get the same feed as Spotify or Apple Music does. So we go through what is called a DDEX feed, and basically we're getting the music the same time that Spotify, Apple Music, Pandora, everybody, all the streaming platforms get it. And so not that it comes in late, it actually comes in at the same time now.
Yeah.
But they have full control of what comes out. They're the ones that are spitting out all the content.
Okay.
And then they also have control of saying, hey, we don't own the rights to this record anymore, so we need to take it down. And so, yeah. So we have a whole digital team that works with the labels directly and managing the records that are on the site and seeing what needs to get taken down and all that. You know, at the end of the day, like, music, it's digital. We're living in a digital age, so it's super important. And some records are going to go down because of licensing issues, and some records will go up. And, you know, it's just like that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that, like, you're so successful. So, like, breaking into the business, like, did you ask, like, your parents for help, like, with building your website, or how to have your business plan? Because it's amazing.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting, but I didn't. So my dad was very supportive, like buying me all the latest gear and everything that I wanted, because I was very particular on what equipment I wanted and what I wanted. So he was very supportive, but he didn't really know like what I was getting into, right? So he didn't really understand. He just supported me because, you know, like, he's my son. I'm gonna help him with whatever. But I don't think he really understood like what I was trying to get at, right? And now, obviously, he's very proud of me, and he sees the success and what I've built. And yeah.
When you first started BPM Supreme, like, it was just you, right? And then you built the website. Like, how did you start how did you start getting like employees, and like how did that all kind of come together?
I think what happened was that I met somebody in the UK over Skype. and that person was doing marketing. This is in 2011. Okay. So what, like, digital advertisement wasn't as big as it is now. And so he mentioned to me like, hey, like, buddy, like, I can run advertisement for you on a nationwide level for $500 a month. And I said, at the time, $500 a month to me was my rent.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah,
and
right.
so I said, that's a lot of money, but I took the risk. And I said, okay, let me try it out for a couple months and see how it goes. And it was Thanksgiving. I still remember, like, it was Thanksgiving 2011 when he started running advertisement. And I just see my email notifications started going off. And there were subscribers subscribing to the actual site.
Oh, wow.
And I called him and I said, hey, man, like, is this real? Like, should I be concerned because I'm getting a bunch of PayPal transactions,
like bots?
and I don't know if it's either spam, fraud, like, you know. I still remember I called PayPal twice and I said, hey, like, I don't want to touch this money. I want to make sure that this is not like fraud
Yeah.
or anything like that. And they're like, no, this is, it's fine. We're not seeing any red flags or anything. So I waited like 2 months. That's when I realized, like, man, like the money keeps piling up.
Yeah.
Like this is actually serious. And then
Wow.
I decided, oh, okay, cool. So then I can technically say it's making money now.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and that's how it started. But I already had a foundation because I was DJing for quite some time.
Yeah.
So a lot of my friends already knew that I was starting this business. So I don't want to say it was easy, but it was easier for me to start reaching out to people and letting them know about my new product and what I was doing and all of that. And I had a pretty good fan base already in the city from my DJ career. So I think that helped too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so was it like that same month that you paid them $500 that they just started coming?
Yeah, it was like all within like 3 months, I would say.
That's
Wow.
amazing.
Yeah, all within 3 months. But I don't want to say that
Yeah.
was the key to the
Yeah.
making
Sure.
the site
Yeah.
successful, right? But
That's
but that was
inspiring.
like the initial push. You know, that was where and then also before the site even launched, I got together with a group of people that I trusted, that I wanted to get involved in this project, and only one person stayed behind because everybody else needed to get paid. And I said, guys, like, this is a project that's a startup.
Yeah.
I can't afford to pay you guys right now, but I can assure you that you guys are going to make a pretty good, a salary
Yeah.
based on doing something that you like to do. And so only one person, like, ended up staying, and he's
Wow.
now one of my business partners on another company. Yeah. So
I bet those other people are kicking themselves.
yeah. yeah. Believe it or not, yeah, I still hear from those people. They're still my friends,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but it's unfortunate it didn't work out,
Yeah, it takes
Yeah.
some sweat to start getting.
Yeah, and I can understand because at the time they needed money as well,
Yeah.
so they needed to have a job and secure their family as well too. So
Yeah. Is it hard to keep up with like the change in the digital like I feel like everything's moving so quickly now with the internet. Like, is it
Yeah.
hard to stay on top of it all, or?
well, I think what's helped us, be successful and stay on top of the trends, whether it's music or technology, is that we've actually invested into having a large team. So right now we have about close to 40 people in house, and looking to get about 20 more people in our LA office.
Wow.
And so that'll put us at almost 60 team members, and I think that really helps us because I can't be at the forefront of everything that's going on.
Yeah.
And so we have a marketing team, we have our own design agency, we have a product team that's all their focus, and I think that's what really helps us all come together and stay on top of what's going on.
There's a million large, like not large, but like massive, well-known DJs that use
Yeah.
your company.
Yeah.
And like, were those people coming to you, or were you going like, hey, like I got this,
Yeah,
this-
so I had a vision. So when I started reaching out to people, when I was the one doing all the legwork, which was the outreach side of things, I started noticing like, hey, you know what? This can actually be like a full-time job, like outreaching can be full time.
Yes.
And so I started creating this position called artist relations, which I see it in multiple companies now.
Yeah.
But before it wasn't. And so I brought in a team of people to just be the artist relations department. And so we have a team of 3 people right now that their main focus is just making sure that anybody that's in the industry that's recognizable or that should be using our product is aware of our product and is using it, whether it's paying for it or comping them,
Yeah.
depending on the
Wow.
tier that they fall in,
Yeah.
right? So
Wow.
that's how we get a lot of it. And it's, to answer your question, it's a little bit of both, right? So it depends. So for example, somebody like the chain smokers that use our service, like we reached out to them.
Sure.
They stopped by our office before in the past, but we built out direct communication with them, and then we offer them the account. In some scenarios, management will reach out. It just depends on the artist and and different levels. But it's a little bit of both. Sometimes they reach out, and sometimes we reach out. You know.
Okay. And is the music, is everything on your site, does it come from a label, or is there like royalty-free stuff on there?
No, there's no royalty stuff free. Everything that we have is all licensed by the label, and we're authorized to be able to put it on the platform.
Okay.
So that we can promote the music.
So people aren't using it to like write records, or are
not
they?
yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. Not
Yeah,
yet.
because you have a new app too, right?
Yeah, so we recently launched an app in January. So we wanted to change. Our mission has always been redefining the way DJs discover music. We
that's
feel
cool.
that there's so much music coming out every single day.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that we figure out either algorithms, making our UI and UX experience a little bit easier for them to be able to find the music, right? So that's always been one of our biggest goals. And so when we introduced the app, we said we noticed that most of our users were using Spotify to basically discover music.
Yep.
And we said, nothing against Spotify, and I don't think by any means like we're a competitor to Spotify, but Spotify is not designed for the DJ space. And so we wanted to create an application that can allow the DJs to stream music on the go, and at the same time be able to add it to their crate on the go. And so that's what we did. And the first day we launched it at NAMM, which is the biggest music convention in Anaheim.
Wow.
We launched it, and I think we got over 30,000 downloads the first day we launched. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's
So it's been
awesome.
good. It's the app's been doing great. A lot of people love it, and I think we wanted our application to be a standalone product and not be an extension to our website. Even though it works in conjunction with our website, we wanted to design the interface and just the algorithms that are inside of the app to be more for on the go, or whether you're streaming inside of your car or while you're working out. And so we
Yeah.
wanted to be this as a standalone product.
Yeah,
And it
'cause
took us a long time to build it
Yeah.
for that specific reason.
Wow.
if I start working out, can you like filter by BPMs? So like if you wanted something really fast, that'd be
Yeah,
cool.
of course, of
Yeah.
course. I gotta say, like, and I'm supposed to say, like, it's not meant for general market. You have to be a DJ to use it. But
Yeah.
even if you're just, if you're not a DJ and you want to use the app, I don't even think it would make sense because of the versions that you find on there. They're just tailored to the DJ community.
Okay.
And so you would be like, why am I listening to an acapella all of a sudden? You
Yeah,
know,
so
like-
you wouldn't you wouldn't
Yeah.
go on there to stream
yeah,
whatever and like go running on the treadmill too.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's just gonna be. Is it all stems, or like you have beds on there, or like how?
Well, we have a lot. Like, it's all music, right? So
Oh,
it's
yeah,
all
'cause you
it's
said
all
it's-
music.
that's already
And then we have
licensed
extended, and then we have custom remixes or versions that are different than the original song.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's a big part of DJing, like in clubs, right? It's finding record like versions of stuff that people may not have heard yet, and then other
course.
DJs being like, "Oh, where'd you get that?" Like, or isn't it that kind of like the culture to it a little bit?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I still hear a lot of people. I run into a lot of people when they ask me, like, what do I do? And I explain to them. I still hear a lot of people think that the DJs are actually mixing. They're actually making that remix on the spot.
Yeah, I think a lot of
Yeah.
people assume that.
And it's not. That's not the case.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
That there's companies like ours, because we're not the only ones, but there's companies like ours that are putting in labor into making these versions for the DJs to be able to play. And by any means, we're not doing their set. We're not creating their set. But the versions that they're playing are actually already made. They're not remixing them on the spot.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you're just providing them a tool
Yeah.
that they can put into their set.
Because it's
Yeah.
still an art, like you said. You have to read the crowd.
Of
and
course.
Figure out
Yeah.
when they're going to go to the bar.
Yeah, you're not just going up there and push and play and
Yeah.
standing around.
Yeah, of course.
Are you still DJing now? Like,
I don't DJ, so
And-
I actually stopped when I launched the service.
oh, okay.
Yeah, I feel like I just wanted to focus all my energy into this, and DJing was just taking up. To be a successful DJ, you gotta really focus, and you gotta just know the music day in and out. And I think I think what happened to me is I fell in love with design and development, like technology, and I felt like, you know what, like I feel like this was always a dream of mine, like being able to work with some of the best designers and the best developers in the world. That to me was inspiring, and I think that was the direction I wanted to do. I wanted to go with. So yeah.
Yeah, I definitely want to pick your brain like so much just for our business. I'm like, where do we go? Do you get asked to speak at different events? Like I would just.
I'm starting to do a lot more of that stuff. So
Do any DJ, like big name DJs, ever have like wild requests for you that, like, for certain things, like pieces of songs that maybe you could get your hands on that they can't, or has that ever been? You know, like maybe they're going through your library and they're like, oh, I wonder if you can get me this acapella of this song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's a good question, but I haven't. At least me personally, I haven't. Maybe our artist relations or our product team, maybe, but
Personally,
me personally,
you.
I haven't. I haven't gotten any requests. I do get requests when we don't have a song.
Oh yeah.
they'll say like, "Hey, like, why don't you have this song?" I say, "Well, the label hasn't sent it. There's nothing I can do."
Okay.
You know, like if
How does like if I was a band or an artist, can I see like how many plays your service?
we haven't introduced that yet.
That'd be so cool.
We haven't
okay.
introduced that yet.
So that was going to be my question too, is along the same lines. Like, if a radio station, for example, wants to use an extended intro of a song or something, are the tracks like watermarked? Like
They're
when
not.
They're
They're not.
Okay.
They're not. So we're not able to track, which is why right now, as we speak, we're working with the labels for a couple reasons. Like one is, I think we're moving into the space of streaming. And so we want to introduce streaming into the DJ space.
Yeah.
There's been a few companies that have done it, but I think everybody's waiting for BPM to introduce streaming.
Yeah.
Just because we're the biggest company right now in the space. And so we're working on figuring out ways to secure the files and be able, not necessarily secure the files, but just understand what people are doing with the files, right? And how many times are they playing it at the club? Where are they playing it? And if we can secure them, then we can be able to track that.
Yes.
And so we're working on trying to make that better, you know?
Yeah.
Give them
Because
bragging
right now
rights.
the label wouldn't know how many downloads of.
We can,
Yeah.
so we can provide that
Oh,
to
you
them
can- you
upon
provide-
request,
oh,
and
I
we
see.
report to them on a quarterly basis, but it's not something where they could just log into a dashboard and then be able to see.
Yeah.
I think it's something that is fairly easy for us to do, but we just have so many projects going on that we just haven't put any time into that, you know?
Yeah.
I love. I looked at your wife's Instagram. It's so cute.
Yeah.
So having a family, I think, you know, being an entrepreneur is amazing for your son to grow
Yeah.
up with, and are you going to introduce him to music soon? He's probably going to festivals, huh?
Yeah, like I have a young one. He's like 19 months, 20
my
months.
gosh.
Oh wow.
And he's already like going on the turntables and like, yeah, it's
That's
kind of
cool.
funny. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So your son's 19 months. He looks so tall.
So I have two.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I have a 10-year-old and then I have like a 19, 20 month. I wanna
okay.
say. Yeah.
That's kind of similar. We
Yeah, we
have
have
an 11
11,
and a 3.5.
3.5-year-old. Yeah.
No, okay. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's 8 years in between.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's so awesome. Like, I would see the BPM Supreme logo like on people's sweatshirts and like
Yeah.
stickers and all, and I didn't realize that you started that here in San Diego.
A couple people that we have that are working there now, they didn't know that the company was actually based out of San Diego.
Yeah.
I had no
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah.
And they're fans of the company, and like our director of operations, he used to be one of the managers at Guitar Center.
Oh, that's
And-
awesome.
Wow.
And then when he came on board, he was like, "Man, I never knew that BPM was out of San Diego. Like, that's crazy." And so I think now we're getting ready to open up our office in LA. So we're gonna be on Sunset and Vine, which is a prime location.
Oh yeah.
And so we're opening up that in the next couple of weeks, and we've been in construction for 3.5 weeks, and
Wow.
I mean 3.5 months, and then now we're getting ready to open it. But I think it was a perfect timing for us because now we work with so many people in music that everybody's very excited to like see BPM come to LA, and they're like ready to welcome us to the city, which is amazing, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people ask me like, "Hey, how do you guys feel about being the new kids on the block?" And I said, "It does not feel that way at all because
Yeah.
people are actually like cheering for us to like open our doors, you know, like
Yeah.
like we were already getting requests by many labels and artists to come in through those doors to do listening parties and to do all these things.
Wow.
We're gonna
And,
be like,
yeah, and we're not even open yet, so I think it's a perfect timing.
Yeah.
Just because of where the company's at right now.
Sure.
You know, so
And you have all the labels there.
Yeah.
It's so much easier for
Yeah.
them to like send people over, and you can have meetings with their. With
yeah,
the
I think the
record
past
companies.
the past year I spend my time going to LA about once or twice a week,
oh,
and
Oh
I
my
started to
gosh.
realize how much stuff goes on in LA every single day.
Yeah.
Like here, it's like you have an event, and I don't even know how often music events happen here, but
Yeah.
like when they do happen, it's like the whole town knows about it, and everybody wants to be there because it doesn't happen all the time. In LA, you almost gotta pick and choose because there's like
There's
3
so
events
much
every
going
day,
on. Yeah.
like if that,
True.
probably more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's just a really, really cool city, you know, when it comes to music and entertainment, you know.
Yeah. No, for sure.
And I think San Diego's always been a home to us, and we want to keep our office here just because a lot of the people that are born and raised in San Diego, they've been with our company for, you know, more than 3.5, 4 years.
Oh.
And so it would definitely suck for us to say, hey, we're closing shop and now we're going to
Yeah.
LA. So I don't think we want to do that, but we're definitely starting our LA office, and we'll see how fast it can grow in
Yeah.
LA, you know?
That's
When you opened up the one here in San Diego, like that must have been a pretty cool day. When you put all this work, you had this idea, you made a
Yeah.
website, and now you have an office in
hustled a lot.
downtown San Diego.
I had an office, so I've always had an office because when I was a DJ, I had a studio. So the studio
Oh.
kind of converted into my office. So I had an office since I was like 19, 20. I had an office, and then I wanted to move to downtown because I wanted to attract talent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to have at the time I had an office in Chula Vista,
Yeah.
and I said, man, like nobody's gonna want to come and work in Chula Vista, and so I want to move to downtown. I want to attract the most talented people in San Diego, and so that's how it started evolving. Like we moved to downtown, and then from there, it's like, what's the next step? Like we got to provide 401k, we got to provide health
Aw.
insurance and all that.
That's
so
nice.
so that was definitely something. We've always looked, how do we attract the best talent? How do we get the best people in the city to come and work with us? Not just because we're a music company, but then because you can get paid well, you can, get health benefits, get the 401k out of music, which is
Yeah.
very rare in San Diego.
That's why I was blown away when I saw that you guys were from San Diego. I had no idea.
Yeah, when I started, it was when I started it here in San Diego was because so my oldest kid, I didn't want to get up and move,
Oh, yeah.
right? Because he was born and raised here. So
Right.
when we first started, like it was us doing a lot of the outreach, and it was hard. Like we would get one person, and it was like a big deal. Like the whole entire office would be, like, oh, we have so and so coming. Like we gotta get ready. We gotta make sure we have the cameras ready and all this stuff. And
Yeah.
then now it's becoming like every day we have artists walking through that door. Like
Wow.
yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
so cool.
That is.
We've been able to expand too. So we open up our design agency, but then we also we're on the process of opening up a management company. And
Oh,
so
wow.
we're starting to manage a few artists that I
Like
can't.
local artists or
One local artist, but then we're also managing a couple of big artists as well.
Wow.
So we can't disclose the names just yet,
Sure.
but we will announce them soon. And but I think it's because of the success that BPM has had that a lot of people are trusting the brand and they're trusting the company and the relationships that we have with them and how we've done business with them in the past. Or say like, oh, you guys are opening up a management company, like I'm down to sign immediately, and it's been very rewarding for us, you know.
And it'll be like all artists, not just DJs, right?
Yeah, we're focused. So we're focusing on mainly artists.
Oh, okay.
We have some DJs, but just to give you a caliber of the DJ, for example, like one of the DJs, he's produced like a Grammy award winning record that's won like the Latin Billboards, the Grammys, and all kinds of stuff. So a lot of these guys, the DJs that we're getting, they have to be producing.
Okay.
Because for us, that's where we see the best return on investment. If it's not just DJing,
because they're also a producer or they're working with other people.
Yeah. And I think for us, what we're focusing on when selecting the artists that we want to work with is we're being very selective on the work ethics and just what is it, how bad do they want it? Because we don't want to just work with just anybody. And although a lot of people want to work with us, like we just want to be very selective on who we want to work with and make sure it's a good culture fit. Because when everybody walks into our office, that's the first thing they see. Like, well, everybody here has the same personality. Everybody here is really cool. That's the thing. That's the feedback we always get, and that's because the people that are hiring all of our team members, they're very selective on who they bring in, and we try to focus on the culture fit first before the skills. And we're applying that same formula into hiring, into selecting, working with artists. You know.
Since you're going to be working with, or you are working with artists, what advice do you have for those aspiring artists?
I think one of the biggest things that I see everywhere, including, because I've been to a lot of Spotify private events and all that, and the biggest thing is just understanding how to get to the DJ space, right? Because a lot of artists focus on how to target to the general market, but it all starts with the DJs. Because the DJs are the ones that are on the field, like playing your records, whether it's in radio or clubs. And it's important for you to understand, like, a lot of artists forget about the DJs. They want to go straight to general market. And that's not, they might find success there, but it's the harder way. If you get the love from the DJs, you eventually get the love from the general market. And that's, I think that's one of the things that I would advise any artist, any up and coming artist, understand how what the DJs like and what the DJs want to play, so that they can support your music.
Bringing it backward.